What is going on, everyone? Welcome once again into the Investing Bros live show. We got a very serious and big video to do today, as just as we got going bullish for the last couple of days, and everyone was convinced we were heading back up towards all-time highs, we once again have gotten hit with a very bad piece of news coming from the Bybit exchange, where $1.4 billion worth of Ethereum was hacked today. Now, we're going to break down what that actually means for the future of crypto. A lot of people are freaking out right now as some of their favorite coins are down significantly. But what do you actually need to be paying attention to, and what does the future hold for cryptocurrencies, as we do sit on the other side of what's actually the largest crypto hack in the history of cryptocurrency, 1.4 billion. Stick around all the way to the end. Make sure to ask a lot of questions. We will be engaging with you guys throughout the entire show to answer any questions you might have. If you're excited for the show, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe. But first, we got to roll an intro. All right, everybody. I know a lot of you guys are coming in here concerned, confused, upset, frustrated. Stick around. I promise you we were going to have a great show. We're going to answer a lot of your concerns and also just tell you what you need to prepare yourself for the future. We're not going to sugarcoat the bad news, but we're not going to ignore any positive news that still is coming out at this time. So if you want a very equal leveled approach, this is the perfect channel for you guys, the Investing Bros. It's not just me. I'm Tim. I'm joined by these two fine gentlemen. Got Smay, got Tshroom. Smay, how are we feeling today, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, Tim. Life is good. I'm on almost a week now of no social media or anything of that nature. And
Come on.
The colors are more colorful. The air smells fresher, and life is more beautiful. So, guys, scrolling. Yeah, but anyways, it's funny because I'm saying that as we are content creators. So, but
Yeah.
yes, it's great. I take some touch grass.
There we go.
Guys.
There we go. Yeah, you guys should be weeding social media out of your platform, except for watching the Investing Bros. Just get yourself one thing, watching Investing Bros. Cut everything else out. Very healthy for you. I'm just kidding. You guys pay attention to what's happening.
And follow us on X and Instagram.
Yeah, X2.
And all of our platforms, guys. Actually, you guys are not allowed to stop scrolling, okay? Only I can stop scrolling. You guys keep scrolling, consuming our content. Thank you.
Let's throw it over to Tshroom. Tshroom, how are we feeling today, my friend? I see that Lux Algo hat on your head. How are you doing today?
That's right. I'm doing better than I deserve, Tim. I really am. And it's because I feel so happy for my friend who got his first hole-in-one yesterday, and that was you. How are you doing today, Tim?
Hey, we don't tell those stories. It didn't happen. If there's no witnesses, it didn't happen. And I'm reminded by that because Smay keeps me humble. He likes to give me a hard time here. Anytime I do anything good in life, Smay says, "How can I just knock Tim down another page?" That's what Smay's here.
I'm the only one here. I'm the last line of defense to keep this guy humble, okay? Come on. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, and you guys are wondering what he's referencing. I told our community yesterday, I went and played golf yesterday, and I hit a hole-in-one. But the problem is I have no witnesses. I went by myself.
Allegedly.
Of course, the time I go by myself is when it happens. So, listen, put the poll in chat, Crux. Who actually believes Tim hit a hole-in-one? I know I'm going to lose. And you know what? It's okay, because God watched it, and God gave me a high five.
God did.
So we're going to move on. We're not going to talk about Tim's golf game anymore. We're going to talk about the news. Again, a lot of you guys came in here. We want to be a bright spot your day. I know a lot of you are really concerned right now. You guys are scared, potentially even, because it just seems like anytime we get positive momentum in crypto, we just get knocked down another peg. And we're here to help you understand and navigate these markets. So let's talk about the news for a second. Tshroom, give us a 1-minute rundown. What are the headlines of the day?
All right, well, you mentioned it already there, Tim, but Bybit CEO reports unauthorized transfer from the Ethereum cold wallet due to masked UI spoofing attack, and that was to the tune of 1.4 billion in ETH and staked ETH outflows from Bybit. It's important to realize here that nothing about the Ethereum blockchain has been compromised or hacked or anything like that. It was essentially it seemed like someone within the Bybit hierarchy system kind of made their way into the system of the multi-sig authorization to send the Ethereum to from a cold wallet to a warm wallet. We'll get into more of the details, how the CEO describes that in a few minutes, but that's kind of what, just a loose kind of overview of what we're dealing with here. Ethereum, perfectly safe. There's nothing wrong or hacked about Ethereum. It's the Bybit exchange. And this is an issue with counterparty risk. Moving along here, we'll get into just the normal news outside of that. This is the U.S. Senate Banking Committee is holding a hearing on Bitcoin and crypto legislation next week. And so it begins, says Cynthia Loomis. So it begins indeed. This could be one of the big catalysts. This is one of the reasons why we don't want to sell out of crypto right now, because those catalysts are just around the corner. Data, U.S. PMI for February. The February PMI came in at 51.6. The estimation was 51.4. And the previous was 51.2. So that came in a little hot. Services PMI came in 49.7. The estimation was 53.0, and the previous was 52.9. Composite PMI was 50.4, estimation 53.2, previous 52.7. The market view here on this was the service sector just contracted for the first time in 2 years. Rising uncertainty, inflation, and weaker orders could weigh on the growth from here. So that's how you could read that headline there for PMI. BNB Chain announces the launch of Pascal hard fork in mid-March, adding native smart contract wallets to boost Ethereum compatibility. So BNB Chain reaching out for a handshake with Ethereum there. United States existing home sales in January came in 4.08 million. The expectation was higher than that, 4.13 million. And previous print was 4.29 million, just under 4.3 million. So the actual print there, disappointing. Potentially, we talk about the Fed's dual mandate. That could potentially be a reason to cut rates, because home sales are down. Well, why are they down? Because people can't afford the homes. They can't afford the mortgages. They don't want to buy that home with such a high rate. So that could potentially play a role in cuts coming sooner rather than later. We're almost done here. SEC to drop its case against Coinbase pending commissioner approval. Brian Armstrong, of course, going to have a biggest smile on his face after that. And finally, Elon Musk saying he is considering having Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, audit the Federal Reserve. It would be historic. It would be epic. And I'm here for it, Tim. That's going to be some of the bullish headlines. But unfortunately, we do have this gray cloud of Bybit Hack hanging above us here on February 21st. That's our news.
Absolutely. And a lot of negativity in chat today. Some positivity, some negativity. A lot of bears going kind of berserk right now. And here's what's going to happen. You guys know that Tshroom and myself, when we're looking at the macro perspective here, we are still bullish. We still believe we're well within a bull market. I'll talk more on that today. We'll look at some longer term charts. But in the short term, cannot argue with the fact that there was negativity. In fact, if you were one of our VIP traders this morning before the announcement that we had the hack on Bybit, I let our traders know that a sell signal had come in on Lux Algo on the 4-hour chart, calling. Now we didn't get this level right here, but we shorted this down all the way back to 96,300. Clearly we went lower, but Lux Algo, I want to let you guys know here, Lux Algo is a sponsor of today's video. It is not bullish. It is not bearish. Whether you are bullish right now or bearish or neutral, you can still trade these markets very, very well. I know a lot of people are probably looking for a different topic other than Bybit to trade on. I would encourage you, go check out Blofin. It is the exchange that we use and recommend for all of our users. Click that link down below. But if you want to trade it and you want good analysis on where the prices are going, whether you want to be bullish or bearish, check out Lux Algo. We use them every single day, and it is our kind of cheat code into trading these markets and staying profitable, whether the markets go up or the markets go down. With that said, let's go check out Crypto Bubbles and see what the day is looking like here. It is as you would imagine, A lot of red here. IP is still technically up 17%, but I bet you if we were to look at shorter time frames, it's not so much. That's most because IP just had such a massive pump yesterday. JTO is still up, BGB, but a whole lot of red come in here. The biggest one, I think, sticking out here, Ondo down 11%. I know Mantle and Tell are larger, but Ondo's a larger coin than these ones, down 11%. Not really certain why Ondo is being hit so hard. We might talk about that later. Maybe we get some breaking news on something. We'll understand it a little better. It's good news for me, though. That just means I get to buy another Ondo dip because the long-term fundamentals here are still so strong, but opportunity still a knocking at our door. Let's go check out what's happening here with Bitcoin. And I want to show you guys something that I thought about. I thought about doing this yesterday, and I'm not going to try to take credit for anything here. It was my worst nightmare. I thought that we had a good breakout yesterday. We broke above this trending red line, this resistance level that we had flirted with back here on January 30th. But as a whole, we've been stuck below since January 20th, the all-time highs. We broke above it. It very much looked like we could have made a big, big move to the upside. Now, I want to make sure it's very clear here. There is still time left for us, at least on the daily chart, to rally back up and not close the daily candle below this line. I told you guys yesterday to feel extremely bullish and to be confident. I wanted to see the daily candle both open and close above this line. And right now, if the daily candle were to close at this second, we would be closing back below down here on 95,300. But what I was saying, my worst nightmare, I saw this late yesterday and just thought, oh, it's not a big deal necessarily. Turns out it was a big deal. Check out a line that I do not have drawn here, but if you were to connect those dots right there, it very much looks like now we have a different trend line we're kind of following. Let's change this color to orange. That is going to be a significant line to get back above. Now, after that line, now all of a sudden you are done with these trend lines declining. The next level of resistance is going to be a flat level resistance as we get to the zone up here towards 107. But right now, that is something to definitely keep an eye on. We were trading within a falling channel. It looked like we broke out of it, but now you can see that orange line is very parallel to this red line down here, which means this is a descending channel, not a descending wedge like we thought we were trading in. So let's keep an eye on that over the next little bit. Again, during the show today in the next couple hours, if we can pump and get back up over 96,200, then technically you could call what we're looking at here potentially a retest where we broke a resistance level, we're retesting it to turn it into support, and then we continue to the upside. But as we're looking right now, it's not so great. Let's take a look, though, at those Lux Algo signals. Again, why were we able to trade this morning and make some profit on a trade? Well, before the Bybit news came out, or at least I'll just say I hadn't seen the Bybit news. If it did come out before I post this trade, it wasn't because of the Bybit news. I noticed this morning that on the 4-hour chart, we had gotten a red reversal, bearish momentum, and negative money on the 4-hour chart. What does this mean? Well, this is the Lux Algo oscillator. What my favorite trading strategy in the world, no matter what the time frame, is when I get a sell signal like that to check, are we above the smart trail? If I get a sell signal, I'm looking, are we above this blue smart trail? We were. That is why I put a target right here around 69,300. There was confluence here. There was, of course, that red line. I thought we could come back and tap on that level. If you go to the 1-hour chart and you turn on liquidations, let's let this load here for just a second. We had some significant, we took it out, but we had some significant liquidations sitting right in that area right now. At the moment, what I would be telling you guys, keep an eye out on, a lot of yellow coming in down here at 94.7. I'm not seeing necessarily a bottom signal coming in. I do see on the 1-hour chart that little orange X, which doesn't mean the bottom's in. It means the heavy momentum has slowed down. So the bottom of this move, we're probably going to get a bounce here in the next couple of hours. I'm not saying we're going to rally back up above 99 for sure. Certain we could. And if we did, we would be setting in a higher low. But what I am saying is more than likely, we are going to find some sort of a relief in the next little bit. And the target that I would watch for is this liquidation, this yellow mark right here, 94.7, give or take. You'll see it on the 1-hour chart. You'll see this on the 15-minute chart. Let's let this load for a second. Oop, did not realize I still had the marker on. Yep, right in this camp right here, 94.8, 94.7. You see some bright yellow there as well. So that would be my target I'm looking at to say, hey, I don't think the bottom's in just yet. I wouldn't be long in this just yet. I would be waiting for either a confirmation on a lower time frame giving me a buy signal, or I'd be looking for that liquidation to get hit and then start seeing momentum Seeing how this is looking, let's actually take a look on this 15-minute chart. You'll notice something that's negative right now, but going to be positive. Right now, there is a heavy suppression of price action on Bitcoin. What does that mean, and why do I know that? Well, suppression means that people aren't just taking profits. People are heavily pushing Bitcoin down right now. And I know that because of the money flow here on Luxalgo. Right here, this bright red section, the money flow is going negative. That just means money's leaving Bitcoin. But the bright red means it's not just a heavy leaving and taking profit, it's also heavy shorting that's happening. What happens when there's heavy shorting? A lot of times there creates a form of a bubble, this case a bearish bubble, that when we rebound very, very hard. We have a green reversal, we have bullish momentum, and it does look like the money flow is slowing down. So we might be an hour or two away, maybe a little bit more, from getting a buy signal on the 15-minute chart. Then the question is going to be, can we start to pile them up on, let's say, like the 30-minute chart where we do have green reversals? We are seeing a slowdown of bearish momentum. We're probably a ways away from the 1-hour chart, if we're being honest. This is what I'm talking about. We had excessive buyers here earlier today. They left, and we had a big suppression in price. But the lower time frames are starting to turn around a little bit for us. And I say all this because all these different time frames go back and forth and back and forth. We are still riding on the daily chart, a buy signal on the daily chart. Green reversal, bullish momentum, positive money flow. There still, I believe, is a high likelihood that we make our way back up above 100,000 in the next little bit. But we need to make sure we see confirmation on those lower time frames first. Let's get back above that red line. Let's start to press on, and then we can talk about the longer-term bullish perspective for Bitcoin. But as a whole, long-term charts still looking slightly bullish. Intermediate charts, 4-hour, 1-hour, definitely showing us that we had a big pullback here, and it's not necessarily quite over just yet. Low time frames are getting close. Keyword close, not quite there yet, but getting close to telling us a bottom could be in here for Bitcoin. Of course, I think the big catalyst here today is going to be the Bybit news. But what I think is kind of funny is we're going to get into the stories with Bybit. The Bybit news was about an Ethereum hack, right? Not Ethereum hack, a hack that took $1.4 billion of Ethereum. And yes, it's causing some concerns and some bearishness on the rest of the crypto market. But I think it's funny that Bitcoin is down 3.1% on the day. Ethereum's only down 3.10 itself. Then you have other coins like Ondo down here that's down almost 11%. Ethereum actually not really having that bad of a day compared to what it really could have. So it is kind of funny watching all this happens. What it communicates to me, I'll be very honest, the hack, I'm not saying the hack was like an inside job. It could have been, but I'm not saying the manipulators are aware of that. I think that, especially those liquidations I showed you, there was a good reason and desire for us to get price to come back down to the downside. That Bybit hack was a great excuse for experienced traders and whales to scare retail investors out. I still believe, and you don't have to agree with me. You can absolutely disagree with me. I understand why people are frustrated and they're saying, Tim, I'm tired of this tale, because I've been telling this tale for a while now, but I still hold to it. I still believe when you zoom out and you take a look at what Bitcoin is doing right now, this is all still a part of a much larger manipulative move to keep prices lower so whales and institutions can buy dips before the real bullishness continues. I always tell you guys to, before you freak out, zoom out. I know a lot of you guys are freaking out right now. A lot of you guys are going crazy. We're back to levels we haven't seen in, oh my goodness, 2 days. That's not a reason to freak out. But when I zoom out and I look out here, anyone who's looking at this chart, if I'm a large player, a whale, I'm looking at this chart and saying, that's a very bullish chart, right? From this perspective, nothing looks bad whatsoever. It's only when I zoom in, and even this, I'll be honest with you, even the 4-hour chart is not bad. Again, we're working right now to set a new bullish precedent that we haven't seen in a while. What is that precedent? Well, since January 20th, 2019, the 19th, we've been setting lower highs and lower lows here on Bitcoin, right? For the first time since all-time highs. Do you guys see this high right here? When we came up last night or this morning at 99,400, beating out the previous high on February 14th of 98,700. For the first time since January 19th, we just put in a higher high on the 4-hour chart. And right now, I know we're pulling back here. I know people don't like this. But do you realize this is still a higher low. Even if we come down to 94.7, that's still a higher low. That still puts us in a good little camp right here with Fibonacci. We're kind of hovering right there in that golden pocket section. This is a bullish sign. To set a bull trend, you don't just have nothing but positive momentum. You have higher highs. We have one of those, and higher lows. Could this actually be a very bullish situation right here? And we go and we set a new higher high and a higher low and a higher high and a higher low. I can't promise you that's happening. I'm not saying for 100% certainty that's happening, but what I'm telling you is there's a lot of people acting like the end of Bitcoin is here, the end of the crypto bull market is here, and yet when you look at the chart, neither the macro charts or even the micro charts give you a strong reason to be fearful right now. If you want to sell, sell. If you want to short the markets, short the markets. Use reliable tools like Lux Algo to make sure you do it correctly. But I'm going to continue to be bullish, and I'm going to continue to believe that this is a part of a manipulated market that's suppressing price, yet coincidentally keeping it above long-term trending support. And I want to use all this time, just like they are, to buy every single dip that I can. Even the one that's not doing well today. And I'm about to throw it over to Tshroom to get into the news. And I want to talk charts, because there was a question asked earlier I want to get to. But even Ondo, take a look at Ondo right here. That is not doing well today. It's down 10%. It's still not as bad as it was back here on February 2nd. It's still hovering in a camp of support that we had back here on January 13th. And let's just pretend it drops all the way down here below $1 again. We're trending right now in a descending channel here on Ondo. Descending channels are negative price action movements that come right before a massive blast up to the upside. You've seen these on several coins in the past. I don't know if I'm going to find one here on Ondo, but if I were to go to other coins, let's take a look. For example, Chainlink. Take a look at this right here. This is going to be a falling channel, falling wedge. Everyone was negative about Chainlink back in here, right? You have a very clearly defined channel being built to the downside. Chainlink would pull back in this time period last summer. Let's just go to the average bottom, 58%. I'm not even going to go down to that bottom wick, 58%, and then would blast off to new highs. Don't count these charts up. Just because it looks negative right now, do not count out these types of formations that predict bullish movements coming later on. So there's your analysis right now as to why I'm not freaking out. Let's get into more conversation, more details with Tshroom. Really quickly, though, wanted to respond to Radal Sosa. Radal Sosa has been in here for a while. Love seeing you in here. Now, Rydell is usually kind of negative. I think Rydell's definitely ridden the train of being more negative here recently, and I understand why. If he's sold at the top and he's doing well, good for him. But he said something. He said, we need to stop the high expectations on these meetings because we dump when it's a nothing burger. By the way, I like that concept for a while. Let's stop getting such large expectations. We are in the phase right now where we need to see them prove it, not just say it, okay? So I agree with Rydell very heavily here. Let's stop getting our hopes and our, momentum so high, thinking that these massive meetings are going to bring anything substantial. Let's actually wait for them to do the things they talk about rather than just say really cool things from behind a podium. That being said, I'm also not flipping negative and thinking that these meetings are going to bring a massive crash either. But I agree with Rydell Sosa here. I think a lesson that everyone should learn right now is we are in the let's prove it, let's not just talk about it phase of the bull market. And that's going to be the defining factor between do we go bullish, do we go bearish? Can we actually see all the things that have been being promised to us come to fruition in the next couple of weeks? So with that said, let's throw it over to Tshroom. Let's get into the news. What do you got for us today, Tshroom?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, add a little bit of context to this. Yesterday, the Twitter account DB reported the SEC launched a cyber and emerging technologies unit. The SEC unit will combat fraud in crypto, among other areas. And it's going to engage and focus on combating cyber-related misconduct and protect retail investors from bad actors in emerging technology space. And then the next day, we get the biggest hack in crypto ever. How do we know it's the biggest hack in crypto ever? Because we asked Grok, and Grok informed us that it was the biggest hack ever. The next biggest is the Ronin network hack of Axie Infinity, totaling 625 million in March of 2022, and then the Poly network hack around 615 million, and then there's a couple more. The Mount Gox hack, kind of the early big one, was only 473 million. This one's 1.4 billion, right? And this is how the CEO describes the events that took place. This is Ben Zhu, the CEO and co-founder of Bybit. He said, Bybit ETH multi-sig cold wallet just made a transfer to our warm wallet about an hour ago. It appears that this specific transaction was musked. All the signers saw that the musked UI, which showed the correct address and URL, was from @safe. However, the signing message was to change the smart contract logic of our ETH cold wallet. This resulted hacker took control of the specific ETH cold wallet. We signed and transferred all ETH in the cold wallet to this unidentified address. Please rest assured that all other cold wallets are secure. All withdrawals are normal. I will keep you guys posted as more develops. If any team can help us to track the stolen funds, we will appreciate it. Now, there have been some pretty high level teams that have scrambled to try to help Bybit. Tether has frozen some funds, so on the Tron network apparently, and the reports from Bybit are that they are solvent and they will not be taken down by this. That that's what you would say. I give them the benefit of the doubt, but that also has been reported that they are also taking out loans. So a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, potentially a way to interpret the next moves from Bybit. But again, if you are not a direct victim of Bybit, which I don't think anybody so far has reported being a victim other than Bybit corporate, other than their cold wallet, I at this point in time, I wouldn't put it under the category of FUD, because it wasn't something that we saw coming. It's not anything that people saw coming, but in the way that the media is going to spin it, and the way that manipulators can take this and run with it, it's going to have flood-like effects. So that's the news. That's the details. Let me know in the chat. Do you guys have any questions? What are you most concerned about with this hack? And what's your move? Are you buying more? Are you buying the dip? Are you shorting? Are you just getting out of the market and running for the hills? What is your thought? But Tim, those are the details. What is your reaction to all this madness?
Yeah, some people put it in chat, and I kind of agree with them. They're like saying, does this even count as a hack? Because that's what the concern is right now. Let's be very clear here. Intelligent people understand, they're reading the details here, and they're like, all right, this is unfortunate, this is bad, but it's not like the security of Bybit as a whole was exposed. It was actually a lazy, methodical. They didn't do a lot of due diligence in this transfer to protect themselves, because the hacker didn't hack the exchange. It hacked their communication. It got into their deal, changed some wallet information, and they didn't even realize it because the information was so similar. But what this is being treated as is most people not knowing the details are just assuming, man, you can't trust these exchanges anymore, and they're freaking out and they're wanting to sell off their crypto. Now, I remind you guys, I told you guys, we're not even down back to levels we were just at not only a couple days ago. So people are kind of freaking out, and they're not actually paying attention to what's happening. What this is a great situation that develops, as I just said, is it makes retail investors, even ones that call themselves hodlers, even that call themselves diamond hands, it's causing those people to sell out of fear. And so whales, institutions, the ones that manipulate and have the biggest plays, they get another fresh dip just to buy so that they can get wealthier down the road. That is exactly how these things play out. But as a whole, what is the big takeaway here? The big takeaway people need to be aware of is Bybit is going to be okay. I think we're watching a couple other exchanges come in to bail them out, to help them make sure there's not a liquidity problem. No one's personal information or personal money was taken off. It does look like this was a move. The exchange lost the money, and the CEO has come out and said, we are still solvent. Anyone who wants to come in and take money out will have your money ready for you. That's a positive sign. That's a good thing. Again, I see this whole thing. I'll say it one more time, and then we'll move on. This is a coincidental win for all the manipulators out there who wanted to buy a dip, who needed a good excuse. I told you already, the charts called for a pullback before this happened. This just helped accelerate and scare people to go even lower than we probably really should have. And now they get to buy this dip up very nicely. I'm very interested to see what happens. Over the weekend, there's not going to be open exchanges, so I'm not predicting like a massive run up over the weekend. But I'm willing to see. I'm predicting. I think this weekend we see a small bounce, and then early next week, depending on how high we get, I could see a very big excuse for the markets to buy up some cheap crypto once again. Like I said, though, as bullish as I am, I don't want to come across and be like, "Hey guys, don't worry, just go ahead and go buy the dip." Right? I'm going to buy the dip, but keep doing your due diligence. Don't just ape into these things. We are in a very long, frustrating movement, and I can't promise you one bit that we're done with this chaotic up and down movement. I wish I could tell you with a crystal ball that we're going to be hitting new all-time highs next week or a month from now, or I wish I could tell you this. I can't. The harsh reality is we are in a part of the bull market that is going to be boring and sideways, and the minute you get too bearish and you enter too many strong shorts, it's going to shoot back to the upside and liquidate you there. The minute you get overly bullish and enter longs, it's going to come back down and liquidate you there. This is a manipulator's trading market. They will take your money from you and not blink twice about it. So what do I think you need to do? Protect yourself. Make sure you're reading the charts reliably. Make sure you're aware of where heavy liquidations are. And we're not going to see an explosive buy until we get the next big catalyst, the next big news story, whether it be regulatory clarity or a hint that we officially will see quantitative easing coming sooner rather than later. Until that happens, be careful, be vigilant, be patient. Don't sell your crypto, but don't just buy because it looks like the market's pumping. Odds are we'll get more dips and you'll get more cheap crypto because that's what the manipulators want.
Yeah. Absolutely. All early indications kind of show that you should give them the benefit of the doubt here, right?
Yeah.
And by that I mean Bybit. I think that there could potentially be some developing, information that comes out. There was a comment here that made a good point. Whenever you're transferring crypto, double check the address and then send the test amount. It's kind of tough to think that operating at such a high level they wouldn't have done that if you're transferring that much money. But look, it's a tough. We do have another headline here that I wanted to bring to people's attention. This is from Barry Silbert. It said crypto plus AI is the next major era for digital assets, reminiscent of the early days of Bitcoin. Now with Tau on Coinbase, BitTensor can further drive a shift towards truly decentralized intelligence. So this is official now that Tau is on Coinbase. So that was not the case until I believe today. So that's a pretty big update. Let's keep moving here.
I think, not that this really matters, but I think I got an update 2 or 3 days ago that it was officially on Coinbase. But not that really matters. What matters is right now you can go on Coinbase and buy Tau. But I want to make sure we're clarifying for details. I do think it was official a couple of days ago.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Coinbase, the SEC is to drop its case against Coinbase pending commissioner approval. In case you guys didn't know, Coinbase is among a handful of major crypto operators in the space, in the industry, that have received Wells notices or straight up lawsuits from the Securities and Exchange Commission, the major financial regulator here in the United States. As of today, it is expected that that case is to be dropped. Now, Coinbase stock was originally up on this news, but due to that Bybit hack, of course, now the shares have reversed, and I think they're down like 5%. So it's kind of a lackluster day because there were some very bullish things to get excited about, but that Bybit headline unfortunately just kind of brought a little gray cloud over everything, unfortunately. So it's a bummer. It really is. It really is a bummer. But yeah.
Breaking real quickly before we continue on. Going to my screen here, Smay, the Bitcoin chart did just flash a buy signal on the 5-minute. Again, shout out to Lex Algo calling this here. Green reversals, bullish momentum. Remember we talked about that excessive bubble? It is now gone. The bright red is gone. The money flow is going to the upside. This means on the 5-minute chart, we're probably looking at a target here around 96,000. in the next little bit. What's going to be fun, though, can we get that buy signal to flash on the 15-minute? Again, you get buy signals on low charts before they go into higher ones. We showed you earlier, we're very close on the 15-minute chart. If that can trigger, all of a sudden, we're talking about getting back above almost to 97,000. And then the question is just how high can we keep these buy signals going? The 30-minute would suggest back up closer to 98. And if we can start that momentum and we can get the daily candle to close, like we said, back above this red line, what you could see happen is this be a nasty, gnarly little wick right here on this most recent daily candle, and then we continue to the upside. This was a great flush out, liquidate the retail, and then let the markets go back up. I'm not saying for sure it's going to happen. What I'm saying, though, is the positive signs are developing right now. 5-minute is flashing by. 15-minute, it's probably, again, minutes, if not an hour or so away. Good sign. If you guys are wanting to trade, again, check out Luxalgo. You can do this with every coin out there. It works for every time frame, every coin. I have more than a 90% win rate with this trading strategy alone, looking for this buy signal. By the way, if you're wondering, man, how do I learn this buy signal? How do I use this? Well, when you purchase Luxalgo with our link, you get into our VIP trading group where I have all the lessons on how to use Luxalgo and set you up for trading right now. So go check that out. Tshroom, want to throw it back to you, though. Let's get back into the news because I think there's a little bit more, and then we'll get into some Q&A with the chat here.
Yeah, a couple more developments here. So on my screen, North Korea's Lazarus Group is responsible for the 1.4 billion hack of Bybit, according to Zach XBT. So not confirmed necessarily by multiple parties here, but Zach XBT, usually a reliable source in this regard. And then also, it's not on my screen, but another detail has emerged. Binance and BitGet deposit over 50,000 ETH into Bybit's cold wallets. They didn't give a dollar amount for how much that's worth, but that's quite a bit of money. It says just 50,000 worth of ETH. Yeah, so those are just some more headlines. There will be more details that emerge about this. Hopefully, those details will be that some of this money is returned to its rightful owner over at Bybit. We got one more story here. The U.S. Senate Banking Committee subcommittee on banking is holding a hearing on Bitcoin and crypto legislation next week. And so it begins, Cynthia Loomis. Now, we don't want to overhype it, but I will say, any of these catalysts can be big. I mean, it doesn't mean that you bet the farm, right? But these can be big catalysts because at some point, the banks and the institutions are looking for an incremental movement towards the ultimate touchdown. All right. Speaking of Cynthia Loomis, Michael Saylor, Cynthia, Grant Cardone, Adam Beck, Arthur Hayes, Caitlin Long, as well as Tim Draper and John Perkins. All of these names, these are speakers that are going to be at Bitcoin Las Vegas in May 27th through the 29th. You don't want to miss it. Crux and myself will be here. Crux, you know him from Alpha Bros, the latest and greatest channel. And him and I will be here in Las Vegas at the Venetian. The Venetian is where this will be happening. You'll be able to hear all those speakers and more as we engage in the annual celebration of the most decentralized blockchain in the world, Bitcoin. I'm excited. Get your tickets in the link down below. And I believe you get 10% off when you use the code BROZ. So go check it out. Come see us in Las Vegas. Use code BROZ for 10% off. Tim, that is the end of the news.
There we go.
That's where we'll leave it.
Listen, guys, if you have, and you might not be enjoying price action, but if you're enjoying the show, if this has been helpful, if we've been able to calm you down or give you useful information, make sure you smash that like button right now. And if you haven't hit subscribe, guys, it's free. Hit subscribe. It's right there. You don't even have to hit like 3 buttons. It's one button. Just scroll over it, left click, and then you're subscribed to the channel forever, and you get all of our content. Let's check in with chat. How are you guys feeling? What do you guys want to take a look at? Let's talk to some people here. There was a chat put in a long time ago. I wonder if I can find it again. Man, I cannot. I know I'm struggling to remember what it said. I remember thinking like, man, that's a good question, but I did not copy and paste it, which I do sometimes.
I've got one here from Lucky Louie. Lucky Louie is the lucky chat to be picked out here. Says, it isn't about how much we are down that bothers us. It is that whenever we get momentum, we lose it and go right back down. We had one big move when Trump was
Yeah.
elected and then nothing. Some crypto winter. Daunting, pessimistic words here from Lucky Louie.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, this is that like classic. Have you seen that commercial, the Geico commercial where the guy he like throws out the fishing line with the dollar and it's like,
Yeah.
"I got a dollar. Can you get it? You gotta go faster." Like they're playing with you. The markets are playing with you. Listen, I'm very bullish. I'm bullish long term for a plethora of reasons, but I'm not going to sit here and act like this is crazy. I'm not going to be surprised by this movement. Why? Because they do this every time. They want you to feel discouraged. And I'm doing a lot of throwbacks to anything. There's a movie. Is it one of the Marvel movies? Smay, you might know this one. What's the movie where one of the villains says like the greatest punishment is hope? Do you know what I'm talking about there?
Is that Thanos?
Did Thanos say that? I think Thanos said
Is that the case?
The greatest,
know.
like, listen, if they just squashed your hopes and dreams,
No, that's
you
Dune.
whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We went down a road. I guess I didn't want to go down that road. If they just took your money, then it wouldn't be as fun. The greatest thing they can do is give you kernels of hope, get you to put some of your hard-earned money into the market, and then they bring it back and they get rid of you. And effectively what happens is, if we're being honest here, type a 1 in chat if what I'm about to say describes you. You wait until you see positive momentum to buy. Okay. You don't buy bottoms. You don't buy when there's blood in the street. You don't buy when there's pain. You only buy when the chart has been pumping and it looks like something really good is going to happen. Okay. And then all of a sudden, you don't sell at tops. You don't sell when everything feels bullish. You only sell when the markets are back down and everything feels really bearish. And it's probably going to go a lot lower. In other words, it feels like they somehow have targeted you perfectly, that every time you buy, the markets come down. Every time you sell, the markets go up. You buy the tops and you sell the bottoms. You're always in a mode of loss. You're always losing money. I had a guy reach out to me the other day asking me if he should join our VIP trading group. I think he told me he has turned $36,000 into $5,000 over the last couple of weeks because he's trading and he keeps buying those tops and selling those bottoms. The reason why is because of manipulation, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, these whales and institutions, they don't care about you. They don't care whether you make money or not. But they know they have systems because they can control media, they can control sentiment, they can get things going in the right direction. They know that the average retail investor invests and trades emotionally, not rationally. Rationally, you should be buying when there's blood and you should be selling when there's euphoria, but they know that's not how you operate. And so what happens is they discourage you and discourage you and discourage you until you leave, right? Let's say there's a million people right now, retail investors in Bitcoin, and 500,000 of them, half of us are emotional investors. Well, as long as there's proof of emotional investors with heavy liquidations and heavy volume the way we're seeing, they will keep doing these moves. You want to know when it will stop? It'll stop when every single one of those 500,000 emotional traders is gone and says, I give up on crypto. I'm done. I'm leaving. It's over. And the only people left are the people like me who are stubborn and who buy dips and sell peaks. And I refuse to quit the game. I'm just going to hold tight. I'm going to hodl on. You can't get my Bitcoin from me. You can't get my crypto from me. When they shake out the weak, the emotional, the new investors, and there's no one left but experienced ones, that's when they finally pump the markets. So if you're asking this game, when is it finally going to get bullish? When are we finally going to see new all-time highs and stop this boring, ranging sideways movement? It'll happen when you finally give up control, stop trying to act like you know perfectly what's going to happen, and just say, you know what? I don't know when we're going to do all-time highs. I don't know what's going to happen. But you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to sell BlackRock or Fidelity or I'm not going to sell anyone my Bitcoin. This is my Bitcoin. This is my crypto. I'm going to ride it to the moon or to the sea bottom. The minute you can switch into that kind of mindset, and the minute that everybody gets in that kind of mindset, or at least the ones who don't have that mindset leave, that's when we'll go to new all-time high. I don't know what's going to, I don't know the date. I don't know what news is going to come out. What I know though is there's too many emotional traders still investing in crypto right now, and as long as they are here, and as long as we don't have quantitative easing, and as long as we don't have very clear regulation as far as what crypto is doing, we have a perfect excuse to keep trampolining, seesawing, whatever you want, whatever kids playground analogy you want to use here. We will keep this up and down choppy movement that frustrates you. Why? Because you're emotional and they know it, and they're going to mess with you because they don't care about you. You got to learn how to change that whole mindset up and say, I am here for the long run. You cannot shake me out, composite man. I'm going to buy with you when there's blood. I'm going to sell with you when there's euphoria. And the easiest way to do that is to learn technical analysis, learn how to read the charts. Don't listen to what they say. Learn how to read what they do. That's what's going to make you profitable. But there's just too much emotions right now to get that to happen.
Absolutely, Tim. And
I see a lot of things being. NCR Legends is Tim is Hagrid, aka from Harry Potter. Hagrid's a cool dude. I liked Hagrid.
Well, Tim, let me fill you in on what the chat is saying about this. We were asked what Avengers we would be, the three of us. And
Hagrid's not an Avenger.
Well, I know that guy was out of left field. You read the out of left field one, but the consistency was what Avengers would be. I put out there that you would be Thor, Tshroom's Captain America, I'm Iron Man, the tech guy. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that even personality-wise, I think that if you were to take any of the Avengers, I probably align with Thor the most. You said you were who?
Iron Man.
You're not Iron Man.
Come on, I'm totally Iron Man. Come on.
I would say if I was going to put you with one, Smay.
Is that raccoon technically an Avenger?
He's an Avenger. Yeah.
No.
I would maybe say like you are. What's his name?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, maybe.
I could see that.
I could see you being more Doctor Strange.
I could see Doctor Strange. Okay, I could see Doctor Strange.
I think T-Shirt's personality, his just straightforward stewardness. He's Captain America.
Oh, easily. That one was obvious.
Time for the nonsense.
Yeah,
I was in the army.
He's Team America.
He's totally Captain America, and you're definitely Thor.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well,
Hulk, who's just irrationally angry. I can think of a couple people that I'm not going to say on the show that could be Hulk. Yeah. All right. I did like a chat here.
Paying attention.
I liked what go back to it. Retro Mike Tech. I love seeing Retro Mike Tech. He says, "Be heartless, soulless, and emotionless like me." I don't know about soulless or heartless, but emotionless, yes. Yeah. You guys want to know how to become a good trader? Get emotionless. Just lose emotions. Distance yourself from the emotions of your money. And for some reason, you know what's crazy? And I'm kind of being silly here, but I'm going to take it to a serious note here. Whether you're a Christian or not, whether you agree with the Bible or not, Jesus talks about, and it's not about money, but it's a very easy correlation here. He talks about the minute you give up your life is when you'll find it, but as long as you're trying to grab hold of life and control your life, you'll end up losing it, right? I'm not trying to get sacrilegious here, but I'm saying it's kind of similar with money. The minute you give up control of your money and realize that it's money comes and money goes, and you just detach your emotions from it, you detach your mental state from it, it's just another tool. The minute a lot of it seems to come to you, but as long as you grip it with an iron fist, it seems to always leave you. It's when you can detach and say, whatever happens, happens. Those are the people that make a lot of money. Tshroom, you were about to say something. I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you going to say there?
Oh no. Yeah, I was just gonna say, our good friend Bill Noble, he's a fan of these old stock market sayings, right? And I think last week I said the market climbs a wall of worry. That's one of the ones that Bill Noble likes to talk about. I think Caleb Franzen also said that. But the one for today, I think, is time in the market beats timing the market, right? I think a lot of people think that a bad thing happened today. Well, the market's going to sell off. So I'm going to sell here and then I'm going to buy back lower when the market finds its bottom. That is a good strategy for trading. That can be a good strategy for trading, I should say. But for investing, which should be separate in an account, a separate account and separate in your brain, you should be using the power of time and have time on your side so that time in the market works for you versus trying to time the market. Now here we're obviously huge fans of the charts and trying to use the charts and use time and price movement to optimize our entries and exits. But that gets more into the trading of it, right? If you see yourself just as a set it and forget it crypto investor, you want to keep time on your side, and time in the market beats timing the market. Look, if we've been
Mhm.
in this market for a very long time, Tim and I have, and we understand what's FUD and what's complete fiction and what's a real concern. What's a real concern that you should actually be scared of? Holy crap, there's something going on fundamental that we need to be worried about with our investment here. This is not that. This Bybit hack, it sucks for Bybit, right? And there
Right.
might be end up being some more fallout to this, right? But if you look back, even at the stock market, just take it out a risk, go further up on the risk curve. Just forget about crypto for a second. Look at the 2008 housing crisis and the price action during that time. It was super, super scary. 30% sell off. And then all of a sudden, over a period of time, you look at the present, if you had sold at the bottom and never bought back into the stock market, you would have missed out on the biggest bull market ever. And so people who just kept their investment in and just bought the bottom of the '09 housing crisis and just kept being diligent and putting their paycheck into their 401k over time, they're not going to get the kind of gains you'd see in crypto. Now, crypto didn't exist back then, right? But they stayed diligent and their earnings compounded and that interest worked for them. Time was on their side. So it looks like the
Mhm.
screen's a little bit fuzzy here, Tim, but do you generally agree with that? Keep your time in the market beats timing
Yeah.
the market?
Yeah, it's that age old thing. Like I think at this point, there's not a single person, and there's not a time period where if you've held Bitcoin for 5 years, if you bought Bitcoin 5 years ago and compared to where it is right now, clearly right now it's profitable. But there's no point in history where anyone who's held Bitcoin for 5 years plus was in loss. Clearly, there's times where if you buy Bitcoin, you could be in loss the next hour, the next day, the next month, the next year, maybe the next 2 years or so. But if you have that long-term vision, if you're willing and able to stay with it and ride the volatility, prices will climb and prices will drop, but you know where they're going? They're going up and to the right. Over the long period of time, that's going to continue, continue, continue. Some of you need to stop trading. Again, we're big on trading here, and I encourage you to learn how to trade. But some of you are so frustrated with your investments because you've been treating it more like a trader. And trading is difficult. Trading is not easy. There's a reason why we use tools like Luxalgo, and we have a dedicated paid community to help teach you guys how to trade, because nobody just comes in and day one is an expert trader. There's too much going on. Some of you can learn that and do it. Some of you might need to say, you know what? I need to stop thinking I'm going to buy every single bottom and sell every single top. I'm just going to buy and hold, and I'm going to come back and check every couple of months, every couple of years, but I'm going to hold this for a long-term future. People have that kind of mindset, that had that mindset 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago. Heck, at this point, even 1 year ago, if you had that mindset, you are doing extremely, extremely well, and that's only going to continue to get better and better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I
What?
like it.
Let's do this. If there's a little bit more chat here, if people have specific questions, you guys can ask that. We're going to go and potentially wrap up today's Friday stream a little early here. I want to throw it over, bring Smay on. Let's get a little bit more fun here. Bitcoin did just drop below 95,000 briefly. Remember, 94.7 could be an interesting spot, but we are seeing buy signals on low time frames. So I do believe the bottom is close here. So stay close to it. Use Luxalgo, trade and make money while we're waiting for the bull market to come. Smay, you got a factoid today for us. You bring some lighthearted fun into the markets when people are stressing out on this Friday. What do you got for us today?
Well, I'd love to do that, but first we have to get back into business. You're taking us out of business. We're going to go right back into business because business, real quick, is if you're not in the free Discord, what are you even doing? You can't have fun and not be in the free Discord. It is literally where fun exists. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into the factoid of the day, brought to you by Decrypted.tax. Today, we feature a question on the just stolen Ethereum. How much did Ethereum's initial coin offering ICO raise in 2014? A, 2 million, B, 18 million, C, 75 million, or D, 100 million? What are we thinking?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to this. But I'm probably going to go with B or C, from an SAT perspective, it's rarely the highest or the lowest. It's usually one
I
of the
think
middles.
I think it's D. I think it's
You do think
Delta.
it's 100?
I remember it being 100 something,
Oh,
but I could be
well,
wrong.
that makes me want to lean
maybe
towards
the elf
T.
was wrong.
Oh. That makes me think it's not D, and it might be a little bit lower. I think it's C or B. T-shirt. What are you gonna go with? I'll go with the other one.
I'm gonna stick with D. I think Smay's trying to throw us off here, but I think the answer is D.
I'm gonna go with B. I have a feeling it's gonna be a lower number based off of how Smay kind of gave us feedback there.
All right, and with that, ladies and gentlemen,
Well, that was a
drum
trick,
roll,
and it is 100
please.
million.
It is 18 million. And by the
Now,
way, guys,
we might need to fact check this. We might need to fact check
whoa,
this.
well, I was already ahead of you. I was just making you scared for no reason. It was at 18 million in 2014. The Ethereum project was announced, and its ICO raised 18 million in bitcoins, or 0.40 per ether. So yeah,
Nice.
I already fact checked it. Just tried to make you think that it might have been wrong, so threw old Shroom off. But that's all right. Anyways, back to you guys.
NCR Legend says people short the market, and Tim just shorted the show. I'm just the chat's slowing down. Everybody seems to not have any more questions. You guys have questions? I can stay for a couple of minutes, but it seems like a lot of people have gotten what they came for. What is some chat you guys have? Last couple seconds, minutes of the show. By the way, in case you guys don't, we don't have this plan every single day that's coming. We're gonna have an hour-long show. We usually go 3 to 4. A lot of times what we do is we just get through what we want to get through. Some days, and you guys have been here, we go long, go like to an hour 15, hour 20. There's other days when we get done after like 45 minutes. We're like, hey, that's all we have for you today. We're not here to waste your time or to waste things. We're here to calm you down, to focus on the actual details, to remove the FOMO, remove the FUD, focus on the details, the charts, the news, the sentiment, the logic. Have a little bit of fun because everyone needs a laugh. Everyone needs to some people take themselves way too seriously. It's okay to have fun and to smile and enjoy yourself while you deal with these stressful markets and stressful financial things. That's what we're here for. But if you guys don't have a lot of questions, well, we leave early. But that being said, people are giving some questions. Dennis said, can I have your thoughts on the news with Moonwell? Sorry, Dennis, I am not up to date with my Moonwell news. Shroomy, do you know anything about Moonwell news?
I don't. I do not.
Yeah. I think Tim is Hulk, Shroom is Captain America, and Smay is Wonder Woman. Says Michael.
Wonder Woman's not an Avenger canonically, so that can't be an option. Actually, she is a DC. She's a Justice League person. Also, I forgot to mention Crux. Somebody commented and said I did not mention Crux, and I'm sorry. Crux, I think, is Vision. Putting that out there.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that as being a very real responsibility, a very real connection. Don said, honestly, I think once people realize that it's silly to destroy the economy of a single robbery, it's just not wise. It'll go back up. I'm not quite certain what you're communicating there, Don. Honestly, I think once people realize it's silly to destroy the economy of a single robbery, it's just not wise.
I think it may have been translated, but generally the sentiment is like once the market realizes this is a contained event, it'll go back up. And I agree. And look, like, you know, this has not been great for people's portfolios that are just recovering from this swing low from Bitcoin, this test of the uptrending line of support that brought us down to whatever recently down to 93.5. You know, and so people are feeling dejected. That's exactly what the manipulators want. They want you to feel like, man, this is just not worth. I'm going to go back into the S&P 500. I'm just going to go back and I'm going to buy Ford Motors. That's where I've worked. I just know that company. And you're going to, you might do okay, but it's Bitcoin at least is offering you generational wealth gain. It has already performed that way for those who have bought it and held on to it, secured it properly, and I expect it to continue to do the same. But if this just too much for you, I also understand. You know, you have other concerns. By the way, if you're nearing retirement or if you're in retirement, you know, you need to also, you know, consider if this volatility is for you. But it's discouraging. Right. Let me just tell you what I'm looking at. This is no cause for any real concern, right? That's just the way that I'm thinking about it. When I first read that headline, it was a little bit scary. Ooh, Bybit 1.4 billion, that's a big number, right? But I looked into it, saw that it was contained, realized, okay, this is a bigger hack, but this is it makes sense. Things are adding up here. There might be some more information that comes up that doesn't add up, but at this point in time, I'm saying that this is a contained event. Hold what you got.
Yeah. By the way, if you guys are looking at the chaos of the Investing Bros comment, we got both Crux and Smay commenting in there. So it does look like the Investing Bros account is a little bit multiple personalitied. It is. It's being run by two people at the same time who are arguing with each other. NCR Legend said, Tim, what do you think about Arweave and how high can it go? I actually mentioned Arweave in a video that is coming out tomorrow morning. Episode 7 of Rate My Portfolio coming your way at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Little tidbit. You guys want to see this one. This is the highest rated portfolio that I have done yet. It is almost a $300,000 portfolio. It's like a $230,000 portfolio. I think it's going to be over 2.2 million when it's all said and done. I have a couple critiques, little things here, but one of the coins he owns was Arweave. I give a very mild thought on Arweave in that video, but I do like Arweave still. I still think it's a strong fundamental project. So check out that video tomorrow. Also, right after this show is over, we are going to close out here in a second. Go watch AVAC's video on Alpha Bros channel. It's going out here in a couple of minutes. Crux is continuing to kill it. Go subscribe right now to Alpha Bros, everybody. If you're subscribed here, if you're not subscribed here, subscribe here first. Subscribe here and then go over and subscribe to our second channel, Alpha Bros, where we go heavy in depth on everything you need to know about fundamentals of coins. If you don't know about it, you're missing out. Go check it out right now. With that said, you guys have a fantastic weekend. Next time you see me in a live show, I should be back home at my normal set, Lord willing. But with that said, go have a great weekend. Go touch some grass. Love on your family. I'll see you guys on Monday. Adios.